All right, my name's Carolyn Goodridge. I am the Executive Director and Founder of Art Impact International. This is our second gallery and artist talk for the Endangered Can Art Save Them series, which is our biggest exhibit with 165 pieces of art. And we have about 127 artists, all of whom are not here today, but because that would take us a long time to get through this talk, right? So we have two galleries. We're going to be going through the surreal abstract as well as the humanity or human culture, because there are parts of human cultures that are very much endangered, especially the older cultures. They're getting very modernized, and even the Amazon forest, people who actually used to live there, they're becoming more extinct. So we're going to start with the human culture, okay? But I would like everybody who's here just to say a quick hello so we'll feel more like we're actual group. And so you can unmute yourself. And because I can see everybody's name, I'm just going to go through the list. So Craig, Trevin, can you start us off? Just to say hi and what you are.
Okay.
I know you're a human being.
I'm Craig Scriven. I'm a digital artist from Dayton, Ohio.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for being here. If you guys see me pausing, it's because I'm admitting more and more people into the call, okay? So Miriam, please say hello.
Hi, I'm Miriam Katsanis, and I'm a friend of one of the participating artists, Trish Giannakis, and every time she's invited me to something, it's been beautiful and interesting, so how could I say no?
Very good. Thank you for being here, Miriam.
Thank you.
Winifred, can you say hello?
Hello, I'm Winnifred Wallace, a textile artist, basically quilting, from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Thank you. And Winnifred is our new secretary for the Art Impact International organization. So I thank you 100,000% for being on board with us, Winnifred. Okay, Trish, can you say hello? Quick hello and,
Hi there, Trish Giannakis. I'm really excited to be here. I'm so excited to be participating in this wonderful show, and I'm honored to be among so many artists that are great artists that are showing as well. And I thank you so much, Carolyn, for all that you're doing. This is a very exciting event.
Thank you. And you are welcome. I love doing these because it carries on our mission as artists to be together and make a positive impact with our creative spirit. And also one of the main reasons why I do this is because I want to share the love and the excitement and the enthusiasm that I get through working with art and artists. So I want you also as artists to enjoy it like I enjoy it. And it just fuels your reserve to keep going. Don't stop. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody say, oh, get a real job or whatever they say, right? Just keep going. So this is a facilitation for you to have an excuse to paint, to sculpt, to photograph, to do the quilting, the textile art, whatever it is, right? At least you have a destination. Okay, Art Impact International, what we got today, right?
Yep.
Yes. So Renee, now I know Renee is not sharing her screen, but can you say hello, Renee? And I think you're muted, so I'm going to ask you to unmute. So while she's figuring that out, we're going to go ahead to Carol Quint. Carol, oh, I think she's muted too. How about Pat?
Pat Thomas.
Yes.
I'm Trish Giannakis' mother.
Wow.
I'm also a painter, and Trish has been painting since she's 4 years old when I used to manage a gallery. on Long Island, and she used to bring the customers over to see the paintings. And she's been a fine artist, and she's been very tiny.
Thank you, Mom.
Oh, it just warms my heart that the family and the friends of the artists are here to support them.
Thank you, Marion.
Support from our family and friends. My mom was my first collector. You see that painting up there? Is
I do.
She kept saying, "I love Nefertiti. Make a picture of Nefertiti." So that was one. So it's really special when family really appreciates what you're doing and don't knock you down, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, Elena Goldstein, please say hello. Uh-oh. She's not on mute, so maybe, okay. All right, anybody who hasn't said hello? I think I have everybody. I count 11 people, including myself. Okay, so who's ready to get started with this? I am. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so everybody can see Craig's piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
so this is his, see, I was ready for you guys. Okay, I'm gonna close this and then, so you could see the whole thing. Now, Craig, can you tell us about the Pride of the Family 4?
Well, the Pride of the Family 4 is about family values and how that's being endangered by the ideas that family is not important or family, of the ideas that family is not important.
Okay.
And it's showing a full family with more children and the family looking towards the east as the sun rises.
Ah, very nice, very nice. And this is a digital piece.
Yes, this is a digital piece.
Beautiful, beautiful work, beautiful work. And you have this 16 by 24.
16 by 24.
Yes, very beautiful. And you have a second piece you said as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see if we can pull that up. Were they in the same gallery?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so I won't go looking for it because it won't be here yet. Okay, so let's start.
It may not be here. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It may be in the other gallery. So let's stick with this one. Okay, so is Les Jusino here? I don't think he's here. But these pieces were just wonderful. These are the nativos, so the Native Americans, and for sure.
I love that piece.
Yes.
I love that piece.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Yeah.
Look at
It's
the
gorgeous.
little boy, and the fact that he has painted and depicted the youth here. I think that's also very significant. And this is acrylic on canvas, but just look at that. So many nice highlights on the face and the shoulders, and even the feathers, right? Everything, he's paid so much attention to the detail of the costume. And this is truly endangered because now the Native Americans have reservation land, and even the reservation land is being encroached upon for oil drilling and all kinds of stuff. So that's very disheartening. Let me just pull that down. Does anybody have anything they want to just mention or to comment?
Well, the Navajos upstate in Arizona, you have to have permission to go on their land. Mm-hmm. And you have to have a right to go there. And I love what he's done with the eyes because they really express feeling.
Yes.
Yes. They're very private people.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay. Gorgeous. And here is, I believe this is a second piece of Les's. Yes.
Yeah.
Again, very, very beautiful. Celeste. So this, I'm not sure which culture he's depicting here. It could be one of the people of Africa, right? Could be Aborigine. I doubt if it's Aborigine, because the Aborigine paintings usually have the dots, lots of dots, right? But it looks like the sash, definitely it could be sub-Saharan. The costumes and the headdress is very beautiful too. Just on the opposite sides of the background, he's got a beautiful pattern of blue and gold, and the other side he's got just a plain gold, but it's not flat, it's got speckles of light. And I bet, yeah, I was gonna say, I bet that's gold leaf. So this is probably just gorgeous in actual, when you actually see it.
Were these done at the same time? Because the styles are both a little different.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And I think, let's go back to his first one.
Notice that on his first one and on the second one, notice the eyes, because the eyes are exactly, one eye is smaller, squintier, which is a person's eyes. There's always one that's a little smaller, and he's got that on those pictures.
Right.
That's very interesting.
I think he's painted these both in the year 2020.
Okay.
So he's making the difference between maybe the different cultures. So he's depicted them differently through his artwork. That's what
But
I'm
you know, everybody has got one eye that's more dominant than the other.
Yes.
And he's even depicting himself in that, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Does anybody have any other comments they want to make on Les's work?
I would love to see the original.
Yes, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Beautiful.
I think the only thing I would say is I look at the name that he gave that, Celeste. It's like celestial. And then the quote, the universe is within. So this young woman is not just a girl. She's also something very universal and very powerful and very sparkling is the way I would look at it.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, with the stars or her earrings, and you could see the solar system almost in her face and her skin.
Yes.
Wonderful.
That's true.
Yes.
That's
very true.
That's beautiful.
You guys are with me here. This is excellent. That's true. That's true. Yep, Celeste. Yep. And so the sparkles could be the stars.
Absolutely.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Very
Right.
beautiful. Very beautiful. I'm sure anybody would love to have that on their wall.
Beautiful.
Okay, let's keep going. Now, I don't have the look of everybody's name in front of me, so I'm just going to keep asking, are you here? Okay,
Good
this
idea.
is a third piece. I had to put all of his pieces in the show because they were so gorgeous, and he depicted, his statement was the endangered. So he's included here not just humanity, but also the animals. But I grouped all of his together, and just beautiful. He has the little leopard or tiger, kind of tiny, because I don't think they're that small, but hopefully he's far away from the little boy and the bird.
Yeah, right. His detail is excellent.
Yeah, it is. It is. He
And it's
depicts the
perspective.
foliage, yes, and even the sky. He's duplicated the blue sky with the parrot.
Yeah.
You know, beautiful, beautiful. I'm sorry Les isn't here. He titled this one. Let's see what he titled this one. It looks like Fluvial.
At peace.
Ah, okay, yes.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah, at peace.
That's beautiful. I really like that.
Yeah. Beautiful. And we talked about Craig's this piece already. So let's see here. Is Thu here? Okay, I'm gonna read her caption. It says, "This is a conceptual painting of how I feel about our country at the moment. I hope that we will rise up from the ashes and be the way it was when I came to America for peace and freedom."
Very nice.
Now, I believe I read those, and I believe she's from Vietnam or Thailand, so forgive me for not knowing which, but one of them, I believe. And before we leave, I'll click out and look at her bio, but she's here at the U.S. now, and she's hoping. Look at the skulls that she has at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
powerful.
Yeah, yeah.
Very, very powerful.
So for me, this painting represents, again, humanity. Humanity culture, yes, but humanity first, because we're doing so much harm to the planet through the weather. We're seeing so many more hurricanes and tornadoes and all kinds of bad weather, and the oceans, the wildlife, the marine life, and we all are together, all are part of the ecosystem. So if we damage one, all of them are going to be eventually damaged, and that's going to leave humanity without a home, especially if we keep sucking the life out of her, which to me is part of the oil. And
But the hope is where she says, we'll rise up from the ashes.
yeah,
That's the hope.
yeah,
And I love that statement.
yeah, yeah, because we are burning right now, especially over there in California. Wow. So does anybody have any other comments they'd like to make about Risen?
It's really amazing.
Yeah.
She uses a lot of different techniques in it. You can see.
Yeah, she's even got,
Like the wings are almost like a stencil style, and
yeah,
the way her body is, she looks like she's painted it, but she looks like she's been cut out,
right.
almost like a photo montage.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like superimposed. I agree
Yes.
with you.
So it's just like an interesting interpretation of techniques. I can't really tell where the gold leaf is, though.
That would be the background against what she says gold leaf, but I'm sure it's like a silver gold leaf, because there's some leaves that you can buy, yes, that you can purchase. It's not like the deep yellow gold, but
Like a
it's
platinum.
Yeah,
It's like a platinum.
platinum,
Yeah.
right. But you just put gold leaf, but we understand.
Yeah.
She did this on panel, so
On what?
on panel, which means it's on wood.
Yes, I get that. Yeah.
Now,
I lost you, doggone it.
did somebody click to share their screen? Don't do that.
Oh, now I've got you up back on.
Okay, I'm gonna go back.
Mine just went off.
Okay, can everybody see the screen?
We can only see the
just
group
went out.
right now.
Okay, so all right, so be careful, guys, when you're clicking to share your video. It's share video and not share screen. So I've got to go back now and see if I can get us for me to share the screen. All right.
I think as the presenter, you could turn that feature off for everyone else.
Right, but I don't want to go fussing with that right now, because who knows what'll happen.
There you go.
I'll do that next time, but you should see it now, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. That happened yesterday too. I'm sorry, I forget. Okay, good. So any other comments about risen? Okay, great. Oops, we're gonna go the other way. Okay, this is her second piece. This is her daughter, and she calls her Princess Mary Claire.
Isn't that well done?
Yeah, isn't it? Now you can see the gold leaf in this one even better. And she's done this in oil, which is fantastic. Beautiful.
Very well done.
Yes. Now, one of the statements here, she's saying, this is a portrait of my oldest daughter. I love to capture her beautiful face as she is growing up so fast. In another word, I hope to capture all of her fleeting moments in time.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the 22 global issues that the United Nations has stated is youth. And I attended a webinar presentation just 2 days ago regarding human trafficking. And 60% of the human trafficking are children.
Yes.
As young as 3 years old.
They're so vulnerable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't this disgusting?
It is so sad.
So anyway, so our next artist call is specifically about the children, not the youth. The youth would be puberty to like 21 or 18, but the children would be the, from birth until puberty.
Yep.
So that's why I felt this was applicable to our endangered, because the children are very much endangered. Their innocence, their lives, their future, their education, right? It's just very much, it's in our hands to help protect them. So I just wanted to make that statement and include this piece. By itself, it doesn't look like it's anything to do with the endangered, but I wanted to speak about.
I think it does speak to the endangered.
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
And I think it's a beautiful thing to include. Absolutely.
Yes. Does anyone else have any comment that they'd like to make about this? About the artistry, the content, the colors?
Well, what I'd like to say is that her method of her flesh tones and all the colors she brought in to get in the shading is just extraordinary. It's gorgeous. She really did a fabulous job. Just fabulous.
And
can I add something about her painting? So I feel it's interesting since my background, I come from China. Okay. So I saw both two paintings, they adopt some like Chinese, the style from Chinese painting. So they put a Chinese word in the background, which means both two, they put Chinese word meaning hope. The first one is on the, I believe the first one, sorry, you can back on the bottom, the right, the bottom, the name is this meaning is a hope. And also she put a lot of like hope, love, both is Chinese word on their painting background. So that's made me think about the traditional Chinese painting. They usually write down the poem like compiled to the figure painting. Right. So I feel it's interesting, but she used the oil painting. Yes. But the stylish that remind me to think about the traditional Chinese painting. So I feel it's very interesting. So I bring it the additional information Just want to share with everyone.
Yes, thank you, Hao. Thank you.
Okay.
And as you're talking about that, I want to go here to see if we can see Vietnam. I remembered.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Vietnam. But like you said, how let's see if she talks about, she was born in Saigon, Vietnam. This is Du Nguyen. Yeah. She's now living in the United States, but she was originally from Vietnam.
So she said that I'm inspired by Chinese Asian paintings.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Eastern European iconography.
Yeah.
So she's married both. But yeah, she did give Chinese ancient paintings their due honor. Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. And she says that, so she's now living in, she says what? I have since settled down to pursue my art career in Los Angeles, later Seattle, and finally Hawaii. So I guess she's living in Hawaii, which is still United States, but it's great that she's living in Hawaii too. Okay.
So one of the things that, it's funny because when I saw it, I was thinking about iconography, especially in the picture of her daughter, because one of the characteristics of iconography is that it purposefully departs from realism at times, not because they don't know how to be realistic, not because they don't know how to render perspective, but because they're trying to get at what is more heavenly and more universal rather than what's totally earthbound. And when I saw this painting, and you see she plays with dimensionality, it's not quite normal three-dimensionality, although she's obviously capable of doing it. Yeah. That's what had made me think of it. And when I read that, I was astonished because, yes, she's trying to show something more transcendent, more, I'll say, some immortality combined with the mortality of the fleeting aspect of time.
Yes, yes, very well said. Thank you, Miriam, for that comment. Very good, very good. I love it, I love it. I love you guys. Any other comments about her work? Okay, so let's carry on. Now we're coming to Dr. Yatindra Mohabi. And this is collage on paper. She has, I believe, 2 pieces in the show. Let's see if this is called Medicine of Corona by Hanuman. And that one is, yeah, these are the 2 that she's done. And this one is called Power. We should be afraid of a woman's power and always respect her. I included this as human culture because I myself have studied Indian art, the East Indian art, and much of their culture is happily still bound up in some of the art that's coming from India. We actually have a new office opening up now. Yesterday I mentioned that we're opening up an office in the UK. We're also opening up one in Kerala in India. So we're going to have a very good presence there. So this is interesting that the artist has used collage, but it's very, very intelligently put together. The colors even, everything, the motion, beautiful.
Carolyn?
Yes, go ahead.
This is Winnifred. Looking at this reminded me, and I don't remember the artist's name from yesterday, and she spoke about how she did the collage with a lot of tiny pieces.
Yes, the fish.
Tiger, I think it was.
Oh, the tiger. Oh, yes, that was, oh, yes, I know who.
Yes, and she sold it.
Yes.
Wanda,
yeah, Wanda Spence.
Wanda. Yes. And I'm looking at this and the other one in particular, you can really see the tiny pieces to make up this one, yeah. to make up her, you see, her dress and the background.
Quite amazing, isn't it, that she did that?
Yeah.
Took a lot of work.
Yeah.
Man. And that she captured so much movement in both pieces. I love that.
And the size isn't much to sneeze at either, 22 by 18.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So she did put a lot of time.
I have a question.
Let's see. Trish, you wanted to say something? Yeah.
I just have a question. Do we know if the writings are specific to the imagery of the collage as well?
I'm not sure. However, these little statements are what was submitted with this piece.
But I mean the writing in the collage itself. Like what I would love to be able to go up to it and read what the word.
Right. This is I'm trying to see if I can get a very big close-up here. Let's see, she's got, it says jug. I can see jug. Then she's got what looks like Sinhalese or Tamil writing, and then she's got English, but it's sort of like truncated, so you can't really read fully what it says. But this one here in the center, I can see it says Bushin, so maybe that's contribution. I don't know. And then it says,
that's an interesting question, though, because it would certainly be something to find out, wouldn't it?
Somebody's sharing their screen again. Oh dear.
Who touched it?
Somebody did. I've got to go back in now. Let's see. Are you guys, I'm not sharing my screen anymore, or am I?
No, you're not. I don't see it. Something happened. It says your meeting has been launched, but I don't see your meeting.
Okay, wait. Let's do this. Share. Okay, can you see it now?
Nope.
Yeah.
Now I can.
Yeah.
See it close up.
Okay, I think Zoom asked me if I wanted to stop other people sharing, and I put yes. So I didn't have to fish too much for that command. Okay, yeah, but usually when people use these magazines and so forth, yes, their words usually are connected to the piece itself. But like you said, it would be great to be able to see it up close. I could try,
Well, you got it up close, but we lost you for a while when you were doing it.
Yeah. So yeah, this is about as close as I'm able to get.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. So here, this one up here, it says focus. It's upside down, but it says focus.
I see it very clearly.
Yeah. And then under here, it says young inspiration. I think that's what it says, young something. Hi, Ken.
Hi, Carolyn.
It doesn't look like she put it upside or downside any which way she wanted. She doesn't have it, so you can read it easily.
Right. So what I'd like to do is, let's see, this is Dr. Yatindra Mohabi. Let's see where Dr. Mohabi is.
Third one down.
Ah, here she is. India. Okay. I figured she was from India here. Oh, it's a he. Yatindra, Dr. Yatindra. That's a guy. And he's with an A at the end. I always think it's feminine. He's an assistant professor in painting, specialty artist at collage. And his medium is collage. And he is used from old color magazines. Okay, so he's in India. Very nice. Okay, so let's go back to our show here. Okay, so before we move on to the next artist, any other comments about Dr. Mohabi's artwork? Okay. Now we have with us here, this is Cybele. Trish is here. You're here, right, Trish?
You're muted.
She's muted.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm here.
Okay, great. So Trish, let me just make sure I've got you visible on my computer since we're, okay. Can you talk about your work here, this piece?
Okay. So this piece represents Mother Earth, hence the name Sabella, and how Mother Earth watches over the planet, and how Mother Earth, like our connection with Earth, and how we're the keepers of the planet is being lost, and our connection to, you know, any spirituality as well as being lost. And hence I call it Mother Earth, because we, you know, that is being lost in our culture and all the cultures because of the way, you know, our, you know, pollution is destroying the atmosphere. It just was kind of like I wanted her to feel royal, like she was royalty. And the piece is raku, which is ceramic. And then I used a white crackle glaze and a copper penny glaze. And then I also used burnt horsehair on the piece as well. So that's why the face has kind of like all these textures over, kind of like she looks like, you know, that her face is almost part of like the tree or the ground. You don't know which is her face part coming out of. And then of course that's a wire sculpture tree coming out of her head, which is her crown, her headdress of you know, kind of like a goddess feeling that I wanted to have from her as well.
It's beautiful, beautiful.
The branches are displayed extremely well.
Well, shadow is part of the piece and how it should be displayed, because the shadows casted by the branches also encompass the piece when it's shown, you know, on white with a dramatic lighting. It's all part of the sculpture itself.
Mm-hmm.
It brings a life to the piece, which is one of the things I like a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. My pieces take a really long time to create because I sculpt them with clay, and then I have to biscuit, and then after the bisking I glaze and then do the raku firing, which I'm not sure if everybody knows what raku is.
Can you tell us first, because some people may not.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Carolyn.
Can you hear me now?
Explain the raku.
No,
Okay.
no, the bisking first and then raku.
Carolyn's trying to say something.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Carolyn.
Uh-oh, okay, let's see.
I can't either.
Well, none of us can at this point.
Are you muted?
I'm trying to check.
We can hear you now.
Oh,
A little bit.
Okay.
What were you saying?
I was asking you to explain two words, bisque and raku.
Okay, so with clay, it needs to go into a fire kiln. I use an electric one, and the clay becomes bisque, and it usually takes around 22 hours at a very super high heated kiln, and it changes the clay into almost like a rock like texture of the ceramic, almost like the coffee cup that you drink out of, you know, like it creates it back to stone almost in a way, the clay to a harder surface. But with raku is very porous. It's actually a Japanese firing process that was invented in 1512, and it was actually an accident. Back then, when firings were done, the ceramic pieces, the bisque pieces, to like a large size, and they weren't bisque, they were clay. They would be put into these large rooms, and somebody would stoke it with wood and fire for like weeks until it became a ceramic piece of pottery. And one time someone forgot to stoke it, and it got to a really high heat, and then it died really fast. And that's what when I do the raku, I have an outdoor kiln, so I'll glaze the piece and then I put it in my outdoor kiln, and it's a special kiln that I use with propane gas with a 25,000 BTU torch, which I fire up. The firing runs around 40 minutes to an hour, where I get the kiln starting heat from 0 to 1800 degrees at a very slow rate, which is 900 Celsius, or centigrade, I mean. And so once the piece is red hot, and if there's a glaze that's lustery, I can see it gets shiny, it's not bubbly, everything's red hot. I wear protective fire gear, and I take everything, the pieces out of the kiln with a special clamping metal tool, with goggles and a mask, and I'm all geared up for working with high temperatures. Then I put the piece into another firing process, which it would be kind of like a trash can that's made of metal, or I put it on a bed in a sand with hay or wood chips, and then that firing I cover immediately, so I get the smoldering process with the smokes. And where you see blackness is where the carbon reaction with the carbons get into the ceramics, and the clay which is inherently normally white, becomes black from the smoldering process. So that's why her lips are black. There's no glaze there, but the glaze, which is the white, it's a clear glaze actually, but it cracks, and that's why there's, black lines in the white crackle, whereas the horsehair, that creates its own other texture in itself as well.
What's the percentage of breakage?
Well, because we're shocking the clay with raku, you have to use a special raku clay. It has a lot of grout in it, which binds the clay. And because of the high heat and temperatures, you have to be super careful. So you never know if the piece is going to break or not. But then when I do have pieces that do break, I introduce the Japanese technique of putting gold into the pieces where the cracks are, which is another process in itself for some other pieces, styles that I work in.
Wow, I bet you that's gorgeous.
I read once where you're getting maybe 50% of the pieces you put in.
No, now, no, I'm at 100% now. So.
Are you really?
Carolyn, you're out again. I can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
No, that was me.
No, Carolyn's talking too.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was trying to, can you hear me
I can't
now?
hear you. Yes.
Okay, so.
Your volume's very low.
Is it? Okay, let's try this.
Can't hear.
You still can't hear me?
I can hear you.
I hear you better.
It's just low, honey.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm not sure what happened. I think when somebody shared their screen, maybe, let's see if I can get the volume.
Well, you're much better now than you were.
Okay.
Much better.
I wanted to ask you about the tree part that's coming from her head. Is that also fired, or is it just, is that clay as well? I don't think it is it?
It's a wire sculpture.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's affixed onto the clay part.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
After you fire it. Is that after you fire it?
Yes, and so after I fire the pieces, then I reassemble them with found objects or other objects that I've created.
Okay.
I use a lot of wire. I use a lot of tree branches, dried flower petals, and all kinds of things mixed.
Right. I've visited your Instagram account, and I just enjoyed watching all of the sculptures that you've created. So I highly suggest everyone who's online on this session to definitely check out Trisha's Instagram account. She's got loads and dozens of works similar and different from these, but they're all ceramic pieces, I believe, and some of them are just, many of them are portraits, right, or faces, and so
they're all faces.
Yeah. So tell us just a little bit, and then we'll move on, Trish, a little bit about how is it that you've decided out of all the different media that you love this one?
Well, I love getting my hands in the clay. I really love working in the three-dimensional space of sculpture. When I was in undergraduate school, I took ceramics my last year in college. If I would have taken that my first year, I would have been just a sculptor and a ceramic artist. I never would have become a graphic designer. I love the feeling of the clay. It's therapeutic for me. I feel what I'm creating. I feel like almost I could probably create something almost with my eyes closed sometimes, because I'm feeling it and I'm connecting to the piece in so many ways when I'm creating. And I just love sculpture and the whole three-dimensional space. And thank you, Hale. I also do augmented reality, which I'm working with my pieces now with introducing augmented reality into my sculptures as well, which is a new series that I'm working on.
Okay, but I bet even though you didn't start out as a sculptor and you did do the graphic design, I'm sure the graphic design did help as well, help you to envision and also sketch out or conceive visually of some of the pieces.
Oh, correct. Whenever I start a piece, I actually do a photo montage in Photoshop of my idea to get it.
Yes.
And then I have that photo and that idea, and then I start sculpting from that idea. But I work it all out in my head, and then I do it in Photoshop because I'm fast in Photoshop. I've been doing it for so long.
Right. You see? So it worked out.
Yeah, it's okay. It's amazing. I never even thought about that. But
yeah. There's always a reason why things happen, you know, for sure. So thank you4 that. Now it is I've got my analog watch on. It's 4 minutes to 4. So let's keep going a little quicker. But thank you so much, Trish, for bringing your creativity to the world and for putting together these unique and gorgeous pieces that really are thought-provoking. And I think that you have done the art world justice in how you've depicted Mother Earth, humanity, and how we are so connected, right? So thank you for that.
I have to bring one thing in that Trish doesn't remember, but when she was still in, I think was in high school, she loved the leaves she used to pick up when we'd go hiking. And she took the leaves and incorporated them into a painting, and then she used varnish and different finishes to preserve it.
Wow.
And so it was three-dimensional, and she got a scholarship off of it.
Wow. For anybody who just came in a little late, Pat is Trisha's mother.
Yes. Very proud.
Yes. So, and we are proud that you're here supporting Trish. That's wonderful. Thank you for being here for her.
Yeah. My pleasure.
So we are going to scurry around the gallery. And here is, I believe, another piece of Trish's. And this one is called Caged. Now, Trish, you've done the sculpture of the portraits, but you've encaged them with what?
That is just vine.
Okay.
The grapevine.
Okay. So you haven't prepared the vine other than making sure it can bend without cracking and so forth. You haven't dipped it in anything or?
No, it's just straight vine, but there is wire that's holding the base of the shape of the sphere.
Okay. But this is different from the previous one, is you don't have wire and then you wrap stuff around the wire. Right?
No,
it's just the vine.
Going into the spheres, kind of like that's why it's. I actually created these right when COVID first started. And there was just, we were just hearing things about what was happening with COVID and how we needed to start staying further apart from people. And I guess that whole feeling of isolation was starting to happen at that time.
Yeah, beautiful. Does anyone have any comments they'd like to make about Trisha's work, especially this last one, before we continue?
Sure.
Yeah, so I went back down to jail, went back to Sunburn. Hell, he was in there 3 days. I just laid around the house because I couldn't have
I think, Pat, you have yours. Can you mute yourself because you have background sounds?
I hear it too. I will mute it. I'm so sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Pat. You're muted now.
Oh, can I say something?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hi, Trish. I really love your work. It's so wonderful, so amazing. So I just wanted to ask 2 questions. One is I love the shadow. So because the light is very important for the sculpture. So I think about, did you have to make very cautious about lighting, right? For example, I really love the first piece, the lighting. So yeah, so that for example, because we are in the virtual gallery, but if we are in the real show, so you have to set the lighting as exactly way as this photo shows, right?
Exactly. It has to be set a certain way. If I showed this piece on like a brown wall with no lighting, it would get lost.
Okay. Yeah, my second question is about, you mentioned the raccoon is very high temperature. So I wanted to know how high is that temperature?
It gets us to 18 degrees Fahrenheit or 900 centigrade.
Okay. Wow. So, can I add more questions? So it's about, because I love the color. I saw the color. I just wanted to know, you put color before you fire it or after you fire it?
That's the glaze. So that's the so on the biscuit, this piece, I think, is special glaze.
Your sound is a little muffled, Trish.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, better.
The glazes are made from coppers, iron oxides. They're all chemicals, and so they all have scientific properties that when they're fired at extreme high heat, they turn back to glass-like surfaces. So different glazes give certain results. The copper pennies are typically luster, and the highest color you would get from copper penny would be a red with different colors from the spectrum. But since I put this out and burnt horsehair on it, the copper penny turned green, which is the coldest color the copper would be. There's also beads in this as well. But so depending on if you put it in the trash can, there's a reaction as well. It's all chemical reaction.
Oh,
and you know those colors before you put them on, yes?
Yes, I do. I did make a mistake once with the piece, and I thought I was using white crackle. I don't know what I was thinking that day, and it was a dark blue. So now, though, I'm very cautious, and I plan things out really well, and I label. It's a very long process.
Wow, it's interesting. Thank you very much, Trish.
So, can I just say one thing on the other work, on the caged work? It just made me think of how art enters into dialogue with other art. And when I saw that, it made me think very poignantly. I don't know if any of you have ever seen in Glasgow at the Kelvingrove Museum, there are all these masks. Now, they're not ceramic, I don't think. I think they're made, maybe even paper mache or something, but there are maybe 50 or 60 faces that actually look quite a bit like the faces that Tricia sculpted here. And they're all hanging, just dangling in the great open section of the Kelvingrove. They're kind of in communion with each other. It's like they populate sort of spirit, like spirits populating the top layer of this very eclectic museum. And then here we see, it's sort of like she's caught 3 of them, and now they're in their little isolated cages. However, they're wrapped with something natural, and it makes me think of 2 things. First of all, in some ways, tragic as it is, viruses are a part of our nature as well. So there's sort of nature in our cage in that respect, but also the idea that we do get solace from being surrounded, if we possibly can, by some elements of nature, even in our isolation. So it's funny, when you see one piece of art, very often it'll call another one and they start talking to each other in your mind.
So that's a wonderful thing to say. Thank you, Miriam. Very interesting.
Well, thank you, Miriam. Okay, and thank you, Trish, for your gorgeous.
I think we lost you again, Caroline.
Uh-oh, again?
Now we hear you.
Okay, I better stay close to my computer. Maybe that'll help. How's that? Okay.
Much better.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to call out this person, Schroeder. Is Schroeder here? He's got this one called Tic Tac COVID. Very interesting. Okay, because we're running out of our time. I'm going to go a little faster unless you guys stop me and tell me I want to say something about this piece. Okay, agreed? Okay. And this is Rose Epstein-Mosner. Is Rose here? This one is called Together. And it says we need each other. Yes, yes, and yes again. The idea of togetherness and family values, like Craig was talking about, you know, it's something that if we keep it in front of our minds, I think it would be a very good help in times of craziness. And this is the next one here, the Black Lives Matter. This one is called Resist. It says, no ban, no wall, stand together, resist. This one, whenever I see these signs about wall and no ban, I'm pretty sure it's talking about banning immigrants, right? Or people who's trying to escape, you know, trying to get asylum, right? This one here says united. Let's see if we could get it a little closer. United against hate. Very good. And then this one says, si se puede. I think that means we can do it, or we are able, or if we do it. I know puede means able, and si means yes.
Yes.
So,
yes,
right? So yes, we are able. Maybe
well,
that's
puede,
what.
it also means can, right?
Yes, puede. Yes, we can. Yes, yes. So again, this is human culture. Very, very, very interesting. And Deborah isn't here to speak about this piece, right? Okay, so we'll keep going. Let's see, let me just real quick read it, what she's got. With the election of Donald Trump in 2016, the USA began a revolutionary global resist movement which continues fighting the racial, social, economic injustices and the growing threat of white nationalism worldwide. And this was a large piece, 36 by 36, which was sold. So very, very well put together. Anybody want to comment on this before we scoot over? Okay.
Very powerful.
Yes, yes. And this one is also very beautiful, about family and being together. This one is called Home in Portland. And this says, this is by Deborah. Is Deborah here? Okay, I'll read hers quickly. Nightly, primarily peaceful BLM protests, or Black Lives Matter protests, continue in Portland, Oregon, and worldwide since the George Floyd murder, while children of color are sheltered from COVID-19, and the USA, amongst other countries, are threatened by the ravages of climate change and the growing threat of white nationalism. During this time of extreme turmoil, we must focus on the children of color throughout the world. Yes. And I love the fact that Deborah painted the children dancing and being together. They're not emaciated, they have their masks on, but they're in this beautiful garden, right? Very beautiful. And this is an acrylic painting, and quite large, 33 by 33, and this was done this year. Does anyone want to comment on this one? Okay.
I think it's very, I love how it has that playful feeling to it.
Yes.
Very beautiful.
And this one is by Luke Ryan, Malaya. Is Luke here? Let me click. No. Another phenomenal young activist championing women's rights and education reform. Very nice, very nice. Very nice. So we're going to move along because we have a whole nother gallery to talk about. So I want to get through this one. I think we only have 4 more pieces. This one's called Death of Queen Bee. Is Tanzim here? Tanzim? Okay, no. Okay, it says this is for the awareness of these essential and magnificent species because of our carelessness and negligence as the human species. Very, very interesting. Wow. A lot of emotion in that piece. There's a bumblebee inside the mouth of this person who's screaming. Wow.
I really love this piece. It's amazing.
Wow, yeah.
It really is. And like you said, with bees, they're so important, and we're killing them off in so many different ways.
Right, right.
It's almost like he's crying for the bees.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because they can't be heard.
Yeah, wow. And I like the juxtaposition of the cool colors and the dark. Section of the eye is red, section of the mouth is red, section of the flowers are red. So they all connect with each other just through the color, right? Just through the color. And this is called Death of Queen Bee. Wow. This one is Black America. This is by Ronald Brown. It looks like, is that like that can that he's throwing? It's called smoke. Let's see what it says here. All my natural life, I have been very conscious of my endangerment as an American Black male, despite my honorable wartime service. So this is a veteran. Ronald Brown is a veteran, and it looks like he's got tear gas or something in his hand that he's throwing out. So yeah, the veterans, especially the Black American veterans, he's conscious of his endangerment. It's a very powerful statement.
He's wearing a Captain America suit.
Yeah, right, right.
I just think it's just so, it's like, you know, he's being so ironic at the same time, following all the rules, being a great American citizen, yet he's endangered because of the color of his skin.
Yes.
It's
yes.
just such an injustice.
Yes. And these, again, this is a part of the humanity, cultural endangerment. It's very sad. I'm sorry Ronald isn't here to speak about this particular piece. The next piece is closely related. This one is by Bill Jones, and this is digital art. But the way he put it together is so fantastic. The struggle. So he's got images, pictures of the rappers who were killed, the people who have been pulled down by the police, restrooms for white people, for colored people, the Ku Klux Klan in the back. So this is sort of like a historical struggle, a brief history lesson, and the Confederate flag across the top back of this male, black male, is very powerful. Even the background, it looks like it's, you know, something in front of him looks like it was probably something on fire, you know, and there's just smoke now back there. That's what I think of when I look at this. And even here, in the lens, the reflection of the lens is the American flag. The American flag, not the Confederate flag. Yes, so anybody want to speak about this piece or talk about it, or because Bill isn't here, I don't think, on the call. No? Okay. All right. Very beautifully done.
The pose, I just want to make one comment about the pose. It
Yes.
has a Mapplethorpe pose.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Mapplethorpe's black and white nude series that he used to do.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you. Beautiful. Okay, and this one, so this is the second to last piece. Ken is here. Ken, you're here, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Ken, please tell us a bit about New Life Emerging, which is sculpture.
Yes, well, it's created from 2 violins, full size. I don't make political statements. I don't think I ever have. I'm not very political at all, but this one represents our tragedy with our government this year. And it kind of represents the old ways of taking care of the country falling apart, and a new government is emerging from it. And that's kind of my statement.
Well, thank you, Ken, for making that statement. It's very clear. And from what you've said, I can see it's very true. It's almost like, you know, like how a snake can shed its skin, right?
Yes.
Like the old one comes off and the new one, the beautiful skin comes up. So
Correct.
Yes, now I see it here, but you're using the violin. Talk about your love of music a little bit before we move along.
Well, I was a drummer. I'm retired as far as that goes now, but music's always been a big part of my life. And I would say 80% of my works are music related in some fashion. And I like using instruments. Carolyn, you've seen some of my other stuff.
Yes, yes.
It's a lot about using old instruments, and I search, you know, all over the place, right? This violin came from a bunch of violins I bought all at once. I still have a bunch of them laying around here. So something new as a violin will come up eventually again. And I'm in the process right now of working on one that's made out of clarinet parts.
Wow.
And it's 2 trumpet players, but they're made out of clarinet parts playing trumpets. And it's going to be pretty crazy.
I can imagine it'll be something.
Yeah, I was working on it this morning. They're sitting on old wood crates and playing the blues. And
that is so cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be
that.
something. And so I just like my dancers, for instance, the ballerinas are music related, of course.
Yes, yes.
And
Now you said you are a
just, you know, just retired.
Yeah, retired. Yeah,
I'm
retired
a graphic designer,
drummer.
Trish, by the way. I do graphic design every day for several clients, and
Okay.
that's always been what I've done my whole life.
Okay.
Hey,
And
Ken,
yes.
Ken, have you heard the expression, without music, the world would be flat?
Absolutely.
I love that.
And I have another one. There's a song for everything.
Yes. Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Great.
So yeah, music. I mean, I still play the drums at home, you know, with headphones on and stuff. But I like being very visual here and just coming up with stuff like this.
Can you suggest to us, Ken, who your favorite drummer is? We can look them up on YouTube.
Oh gosh, there are so many.
Wow.
Of course, Sandy Nelson and Buddy Rich are some of the best in the world. But there's so many current drummers right now that are very, very impressive. I wish I had just a tenth of their talent, you know.
Wow.
But I don't play much anymore, so my chops are pretty weak. And but it's just for my own benefit now.
Okay, so
well, your art's coming out, and your art really expresses your feelings.
Oh yeah, thank you. That's exactly what I was hoping I would achieve with this artwork.
Now you painted on the backs or the fronts of these on the wood.
Yes, the one that's exploding out. Oh, I learned from a violin maker. I forget what they're really called, but how to take them apart. And so I literally took all these apart, except for the new one coming out. That's a full solid violin. But playing with the pieces is pretty cool. I did another one that I sold recently. It's called Overload, and it's like a violinist played the violin so hard it burnt up and came apart.
Wow.
And the strings are flying, and it looks partially burnt and all that.
Wow.
So again, taking these things apart and playing with the pieces.
He's a drummer all his life.
Creating something different out of it.
Wow.
Is kind of how
Now he does art.
Did you paint on the pieces with acrylic or oil or
actually spray paint.
Okay, spray paint is fine. Enamel then.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And like the front flag, I painted that on there and then took black spray paint and kind of burnt it around the edges, you know, gave it
yes,
old
very
look.
good. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you
Oh,
for
my
sharing.
pleasure. Thank you for having it on here.
Yeah, oh, it's just a gorgeous piece. And you see, even though we are in a virtual gallery, your piece is still here, right? We're still apart. You still can show your work. So virtual galleries are very useful, especially during these times.
Oh,
Right.
I'm sure everybody else too. Our whole year was ruined.
Yeah.
And hopefully 2021 will bring better results.
Just a quick suggestion about your getting the word out about your art. Being that I'm so used to two-dimensional and video, I would suggest you take still shots of the different angles of the piece and make one video of it with some of your own music in the background, some of your own drumming maybe, or you know, really.
My photographer that takes the pictures for me, he's a friend of mine. He takes an image from every direction.
Good.
I have that, but I just, you know,
so
looking at it from one angle, you're not really sure.
Right. So you've got the content for a cool video.
I do, yeah. And I could literally show images from starting this project to the finish.
Okay.
I like to keep an image of every step I do.
Right. Well, you see, collectors love to get to know the artist. This is one way for them to get to know you, right? We're doing these gallery talks. You'll get a copy of the finished video. You can extrapolate parts of this, include it into your marketing. And I'm saying this because most of the attendees on this Zoom call are artists themselves. So this goes for all of you. You can definitely use this, and you know, what we put together with Art Impact International for the artists really is to give you some awesome content to market yourself with, right? And so you can give people the links to this gallery, you can give them links to the videos, you can, like I just mentioned to Ken, you can take some ideas and run with it, right? And grow your market, grow your base of fans and so forth. So anyway, that's my preaching for the afternoon.
And it's all good information.
Good. All right, does anybody have any last words for Ken? All right, thank you again, Ken.
Wait, I did have one. Do you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
What my thing?
You're muted now.
How's that?
Now you're good. Okay.
Okay, my comment is, think of all the different musicians who are locked down now, and they're not getting together, and they're not playing at gigs. And think of the energy and the spirit that they're losing because they don't have that joining together and being able to share it with the world.
Right.
Well, the majority of my friends are musicians and in groups.
Yes.
And a few of them have been able to play during these times in outside venues.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. It's dropped to very, very little live music anymore. It's very sad.
And it's depressing as can be.
It's depressing, yeah.
But
So,
I wish they would all call me. I can give them so many pointers where they can still do their thing together. I mean, one door closes, there are other doors that are open. The same way, the same way
some
they
of them
can.
have been doing those video concerts, where
Yes.
they're all in their own homes, but it's all comes together as one.
Yes.
Some are doing that. And again, others have livelihoods to take care of, so they find jobs.
Right. Right. This is true.
My niece, she saw a concert in LA, and everybody was in their car.
Oh yeah, I've done that here in
Like
in
an old
Newport
drive-in
Beach.
movie.
Yeah, it's actually pretty fun.
It is really.
Assuming somebody will let that happen. There's so much paranoia right now. Nobody wants to do anything. So
Wow.
yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. Well,
This
thank
is
you.
a nice,
Yeah. Thank you, Ken. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. So this is our last piece in this particular gallery. Is Tom here? No. Okay. So this is Homeless in America While America Slept.
Yeah.
And you see there are 3 homeless men in the back around the fire. And then there's the doggy, right?
Oh,
and then there's the lady, at least she's got a bottle of water, but you can see her clothes, her knees are, broken. Shredded, yes. And the dog looks like he could definitely use a bath, right? So could she probably. And I mean, it's true. Her shoes, interestingly, don't have holes in it. I've seen some of the homeless with almost no bottom on their feet. So it says here, the Homeless in America series is meant to bring visual awareness of the homeless problem across America. So this goes back to our theme about the endangered culture and humanity. So we have to take care of each other, right? And that includes the ones who are homeless, including the animals, including even the water. And that plastic bottle, hopefully, it'll get recycled, right? And not thrown into some lake or ocean. Okay, so any last words about this?
I'd like to say one thing.
Yes.
So I've been working in Manhattan for many years, and I've seen the range of homelessness with the age groups. And it was always was never young kids. It was never 18-year-olds or up until the last 4 years. The whole age of homelessness has become younger and younger and younger. And the last time I was in the city, which was only 3 weeks ago, it was literally, 18-year-old. And it was shocking. Like even by, Penn Station, where you would see most of the homeless people, it was mainly younger people and not as many older people, which I was really, really shocked. And I think with this girl as being young homeless, it changes like that whole perspective as well for the condition. So.
Wow.
Carolyn?
Yes.
With reference to Trish, with reference to the younger people, 2 of my daughters live in San Diego, and when I visit them, which I can't now, I'm always amazed at the young boys, young women too, that are homeless and just, outside. Of course, my daughter said one of the reasons that San Diego too has such a large homeless population because the weather.
Well,
and, you don't have the harsh coldness that you have, like here. But I'm always taken aback with such young people on the street.
Yes.
I have one other question. So this is encaustic. I mean, I've never seen such detail in an encaustic piece of artwork before. I would just, it's incredible. It's like such a hard process, and to do that type of painting in encaustic, I think it's really, really amazing.
I'm not sure I understand encaustic.
I was going to say the same thing. Explain it.
Well, I'll explain it because I'm an encaustic painter.
Okay.
So encaustic is pigmented beeswax. Now, I could tell by this piece, because I've been doing encaustic for over 30 years. And I could tell that this is encaustic. Encaustic can be considered also a mixed media, because you can mix the encaustic with other media as well. And that includes oil pastel. It includes oil. It includes, the dry pigment is what you mix the heated beeswax with. So you can create your own paints, which I do. I heat the beeswax and I add the pigment. So then it becomes that color pigment.
That's outrageous.
Yeah. So now you can, once you put one layer of the beeswax, the colored beeswax on your piece, you can then put something else on top of it. So I would suggest that some of the smaller details was done with an oil pastel as well. And then she burnt it in again, because in some instances, you want to get those detail, and you can use different implements. But just looking at, even at the bottom here by her boot, you could tell. I know, because I've done this before, just after I have the base beeswax applied, I can then, once the beeswax is hard enough, I can then use a soft oil pastel and just draw over it. And then one moment, and then to keep it, then I heat it again, and that let's call it crayon, okay? Then that will bake into the entire piece. So there's a lot of heat, not as high temperature as the raku, obviously, but 1500 degrees is the height of at least the melting point for the beeswax. So that's about the temperatures that we use to make these pieces.
Wow.
Go ahead, Pat.
Well, now with the fur, did she scratch that off?
No. That one I would suggest it's not being scratched off, it's actually being drawn over.
It's layered. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. You can scratch into it, right?
Yeah.
But the only reason why you would scratch into it is to lay something inside the mark. And I don't think she would take the time to do that. It's much quicker and easier to just to draw over it.
I see.
But the wax underneath has to be hard enough to hold up to the pressure because it's very malleable.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of street art I saw in San Diego a couple years ago, where they do the chalk on the blacktop in the streets.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
The texture is what's reminding me of that. So this process is very intriguing to me. I never seen anything like that.
Yeah,
I haven't either.
yeah. I have let's see. I don't want this to play. This is another way you can look at the encaustic. I'm an abstract painter, so this piece here is encaustic. So so I just want to give you another look at encaustic. But this is my website. It's abstractpaintings.org. You can always go in and take a look. But I want to go back here. I don't want to get off track. But yes, that is very important. Encaustic is very, very, very versatile. Very versatile.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
That is so fascinating to me.
Yeah. I think it's also really, really ancient. I mean, it's been done like for the last 2,000 years.
Yeah. I have the history of it here also. Anything with encaustic, I've got it here.
Oh, cool.
In ancient Egypt, even the Greeks used it to paint their warships, right? So they would actually waterproof the wood of the warships as well as decorate it.
Yeah.
So if you go into the Egyptian section of any museum that has Egyptian art, you'll see the mummy masks there. That was done in encaustic. So yes, it's well around 100 AD to 300 or even before that. Okay, so again, let's keep going. I think this was the last one in this particular. So let's go to our next. Okay, this one. Now, who is on the call that has work in this gallery? I'm gonna let everybody, take a quick look at it and let me know.
Hey, Carolyn.
Yes.
Can you send us all links to your website with your Instagram?
Oh, sure. Okay. I personally I have an Instagram, but I don't keep it up. I keep up the Art Impact International Instagram. So, but I'll send a link.
But to your website too. I want to see your
Right. And it's really easy to remember because I was one of the first artists online back in the 90s, and it's abstractpaintings.com or .org. Either one, you'll get to see it. So, but it's abstract paintings with an S.
Okay. Thank you.
Put .org because I donate a part of the proceeds of what I sell to Art Impact International.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna look it up now.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna go around, and anybody who wants to comment on a piece, or if your piece is being shown, let me know. Now this piece is, I believe this is the Surrealism. The Surrealist abstracts.
Those are beautiful.
Yeah. Peter. Is Peter here? He usually gets on the call. Man's footprint. Okay. Is Victoria here? This is just outrageously beautiful. Look at this. This is ink wash on paper. So this is ink. Look at all the different the different articles she's got in this painting. She's got an upside down, probably dead zebra, right?
Basking in the sun.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it looks like part of its, what do you call that word? Entrails or something is coming
Entrails.
out. Yeah, entrails. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming out. So I guess poor guy. He's gone. And then there's even, looks like Icarus. What do you call this?
The flying horse? Oh,
yeah,
it's
Pegasus.
Pegasus. I know it was something, right. Sis.
Forgive me, I'm Greek.
No, that's great, Pegasus. But who is Icarus? Is Icarus who rode Pegasus to the moon or to some place where he melted?
How do I go off this?
Icarus is you're on the right track. Icarus created wings for himself and tried to fly and flew so high he melted.
Okay. So I melded these two together.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And this is another one, I believe, by Victoria.
Can't get it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just pull out.
And this is again an ink wash on paper. It says, inspired by the cruelty of transporting animals for sale and slaughter by container ship.
I just
Wow.
It's incredible.
Right here. Is that it?
Look at the pig on the left. Wow. What is that coming out of the water that looks like teeth that's just by itself? I don't know. Wow. And she's got it over here too on the top left. Very interesting piece.
It looks like a balloon, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, I think it looks like teeth.
Yeah, it does to me. It looks like teeth.
Yeah, the animal's teeth. Somebody used some tools to get rid of the teeth.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. Wow. That is some wild stuff. And there's a little turtle on the edge here. Wow. And this is 26 by 40, so that's a big work. And here's her last piece here. America Swan Song, ink wash on paper again. New Jersey Meadowlands inspired art, and an area sadly devastated by pollution, but birds and other animals managed to come back and survive.
Yes, I've seen the Meadowlands. There's a lot of factory and oil refineries in Secaucus around the Meadowlands, and they just dump everything into the water there, and it's like a swamp area.
Yeah.
You look at some areas, and the water literally is glowing green.
Wow.
And it, whenever I see, I usually see like herrings flying around there and you know, nesting, but you don't see too much life.
Wow.
I love her work. It's really amazing.
It really is beautiful. And look, she in the background, she's got like how many people swimming? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's got 6 women in bikinis swimming in that muck. Wow.
That's more like Sandy Hook.
Wow. Wow. And there's a sneaker. There's all kinds of junk. Wow. But the colors that she uses just really beautiful too. Okay, let's keep going. This one is Peter also. He's not here, but this one is called Cry a River. The small circle located in the river of tears is an image of the earth. Normally a person would cry tears, but this painting represents the overwhelming consequence affecting our planet, These tears are not tears. They are a river of sadness. All right.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Wow. And Peter, he's a retired architect that took up to painting. So in a way, he's self-taught, but self-taught for painting, but he himself was a very successful architect. He probably still does consulting in his architecture life. Vance EFC. Is Vance here? This also looks like the inside of an eye.
Yeah.
Predators recognize predators, but humans are entirely a different animal. But that's sure. And
Yeah,
then,
it keeps going back to that we're here to protect the animals, not
right,
destroy
right,
them.
right. And here it says the planet is bleeding. And so we know. That's James Warren's work. And then we've got this one, which is a tusk, bleeding ivory. And here's the eye of the elephant. Very scary. All it takes is mercy to understand their language. And this is an oil painting by Luna Al-Safadi. Is Luna here? No.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, gorgeous. And then this one is by Brian Malpaso. This one's called Ivory Towers. All this section is about the elephants, I guess, and their ivory. Protest against the ivory trade. Yes. Yeah, that's how we can help. Again, I'm going quickly because I want us to get through it. This one is called Wave Goodbye by Luna again. Those of the ocean were never meant to see red. Very nicely done.
That's incredible.
Wow.
It looks like a whale.
Yeah, blue whales.
Yeah, yeah. And she merged it onto the wave. And this is an oil painting.
It looks like an eye looking at you at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a face.
Yes.
Made out of whales.
Wow, gorgeous. And this one is my friend from Iran. His work is always gorgeous. Younes Ansari. Today, bottles are among the most polluters of our planet. Well, that's for sure, the plastic bottles. And what he does is, his is 100% palette knife. He doesn't use a brush or anything. He uses only palette knife. And this is oil painting. So he has truly mastered the art of the palette knife and oil paint.
I've seen several palette knife artists, and they're just amazing to see how they use that single tool.
Yes, yes, because you've got the flat edge and you've got the actual edge.
Yeah, for
turn it different ways.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yep.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I love his color schemes. Very beautiful. Okay, I'm going to hit this and then I'm going to go to the opposite wall just to make sure we didn't miss them. So let me just turn this way first to make sure that we covered this wall here. And then I'll turn it back.
No.
Yeah, we didn't see this yet.
No.
Okay, so let's do this wall first. It's a small wall. Umberto. Is Umberto here? No. This one is, it says, feel like a prisoner in the pandemic.
Jail.
Yeah, almost jail.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. Again, the pandemic can make us very endangered. And this, of course, is an assemblage piece. Wood, aluminum, and painting. And that's 48 inches. So it's almost as tall as a full door almost. So this particular piece may not be to scale, I'm not sure, to this wall, but it is 48 inches. This is Chitra, and I know she's from India. The Evil Eyes. Indian ink macrons on cartridge. It's time to think now, is what she says. Is there anything underneath here? Yes. Okay. This one is very whimsical. It's got my name on it, which is wrong. I'm not the artist. So let me tell you who this is. I have a very good team. We try our best to get everything right, but I'll just make a note that we've got to change. But I'll give you the person's name in 1 second. 1 second. Checker box. What is this called? Checker box. Closed still 3. Okay, so that's by Richard Roundneck. Richard Roundneck.
Looks like marble or glass.
Yeah.
Is that like computer 3D art?
Yes, this is I'm reading his statement. He says he's a self-taught with the help of others and excited about being creative. Each artistic effort is in search of creating my own style, and it has been from the start. Photography was my beginning with computer graphics and animation with original music. My efforts currently, reaching back to past works for elements that can be combined in new efforts with new creations as a fun and rewarding thing. And he says also, life gives us only so much time. We should strive to make the most of it. Everyone's enjoyment and interest are different. Staying fresh and open to new knowledge and expression is how Richard Roundneck wants to spend his time. So, some new people are coming in, interestingly. Okay, so yeah, so this is computer graphics, yes. So these are computer works. I think the Ranga just came in. All right, so this is called Dog's World. Watercolor on recycled paper with ink. So let's see if we can get a little closer. Okay, this is as close as we can get. But this is very great. Look at this. So this is hand drawn with ink and watercolor. It says, if only human beings could have the unconditional love, loyalty, and devotion of our dog world, our world would be brighter. It's true. So she's got the humans on the top left and all the dogs on the rest of it. All kinds of dogs. Got one here.
No.
Somebody has talking in the background. Can you mute yourself? Okay. Just want to make sure we don't have. Okay, so this one up top here, I believe we haven't seen yet. Okay, and this one is a tiger. Where did you get that majestic rug? Well, that's certainly a statement, right? Because people kill these tigers and so forth and the leopards for the rugs. This is a depiction of the poachers and illegal hunters killing the Royal Bengal tiger population in Sundarbans, Bangladesh, As the national animal of my motherland, Bangladesh, this is a very serious endangerment that needs more attention and action. Very nice. This piece is by Cole Surisan. Is Cole here? This one says, inspired from the proverb, only when the last tree has died will we realize that we cannot eat money. Wow, that's a good narrative.
Yeah.
Wow, he's like on this little piece of water or something.
It's what's left of the world, I think.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess. Gee whiz. One little piece of fish that is a wonder he's even got that. But the dog is with him and the bird. Interesting. Right. Interesting. And this is 60 inches high by 48 inches wide.
And they're all staring at the water or what's on the plate.
Yeah, yeah. Like who's going to eat it?
Yeah.
My goodness. But look at the background and the foreground and just the atmosphere of this piece is just great. Very nice. And the light with the bird around it, the bird. And the few leaves left. What is there? 5 leaves left.
Yeah. It's kind of chilling in a way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Wow. That is a really powerful piece. That's a powerful piece. Well executed. Okay, so I think this wall is where we jumped away from. Okay, so this is the colorful wall. Okay, this is Nayana Sabu. It says, let them live. Please allow the endangered species to live on the earth, which is their habitat. Let them live. Very nice. That she's got a rifle over here on the left. And it looks like there's a building in here as well with smokestacks coming out of it. Yeah. And she's got a person with a pot, a plant plot. And then underneath there looks like there's the fish that looks like a walrus. Looks like a walrus or a manatee, maybe, and a dolphin. And a dolphin.
She's got it split into halves. One half is what's disastrous, and the right half is like what it should be.
Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
is that a gun? Is that object a gun sticking?
Yes,
yeah, it's a rifle.
It's a rifle.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's fire and there's debris in the water and
let's see if we could get closer.
Yeah.
See if we could get closer. That's as close as we can get.
Sure.
Looks like a person with horns coming out of their head.
Like Vikings or
yeah, maybe.
So that's a deer with antlers, or
is it?
Yeah. Those are all the
being
animals.
shot with the rifle.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, the deer up there, but this pink object here.
That looks like a Viking helmet or something.
I don't know.
But there's a person with arms and legs and something in his mouth. I don't know.
I don't see that.
And then there's the broken tree behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if these are eggshells that are broken at the bottom.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a platypus bird. I don't know.
Right.
Beautiful. But it's fun looking at it and just discovering all these different aspects. And I think you're spot on about it in quarters, you know. Yeah. Each quarter has a different meaning. Okay, so this one here now, let's see. This is another conglomeration of different animals and objects and plant life. Wow. This says mixed media, I bet. It looks like part of it is collage as well, and part of it was drawn, and part of it was painted. Yeah. And this is by Wendy. Is Wendy here? No? You guys, you know, chime in, say anything if you want while we're looking at stuff. But that piece was 36 inches high by 24, and again, mixed media. A reminder of our precious forest. Here's another music lover, Rashim.
Hey.
Musical piece, Pioneer Nation. Wow.
That's great.
Silk dyes with digital art.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Wow is right. Silk dyes. Wow.
So is it printed on silk?
I would think that's what it's on, but sometimes the artists don't say what it's on, so maybe they assume we know it's on silk since the dyes are made for silk. I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. But it's beautiful, beautiful. But do you think those objects in the background, those tall objects, are like skyscrapers or?
Yeah, it looks like a skyline kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. And
But it almost looks like the skyline is burning.
Yeah, like smokestacks too.
Yeah.
But not smoke, but fire.
Yeah.
But they're pretty smokestacks or whatever they are, or you know, we could see them. And then at the bottom, he's got a piano, a guitar, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a bass. So that's a bass guitar, I think, for a left-hander.
It's 6-string and piano keys, right?
Yeah.
And it's acoustic.
Yeah. Beautiful. And this is silk dyes. Okay. So I would think that that's very, very well pigmented, the silk dyes. And this one by Osho, Affirmation of Strength. So she's one with the animals and the plants. Very beautiful. Part of a series, vertebrates on the brink of extinction, affirmations or positive reminders used to encourage and motivate yourself or others. The African elephant is a symbol of the power and strength we must present in our fight for justice. Very beautiful. I love how she has this bright red against the blue and just enough of it.
Yep.
And the white is not just pure white, but undulating white and gray and a little bit
her
of
lips. Her lips reflect the flowers too.
Yes, yes, yes. That one is 30 by 40. Beautiful piece, beautiful piece. Mixed media. Okay, so she's told us what her mixed media is comprised of. I love when the artists do this so we can actually understand what's the composition of the media. She's got acrylic, ink, fabric paint, Sculpt-A-Mold on stretched canvas. Beautiful description of what she's done here.
Yeah, the hair, it looks like the molded pieces.
Ah, okay,
Strands
yes.
of hair.
Yes, yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you for detailing, for zooming that in, because that's
yeah.
I see before. That's amazing. It looks great.
Yeah. It's funny how some of them let me zoom in closer than others. I guess this around her neck are the cowrie shells. Yeah. Look at the baby elephant's eyes. Oh, it's got eyelashes too. Yeah. Yeah, very beautiful. Very beautiful. Yeah. It's very interesting. This lets me zoom in so closely with this one, but not others.
Must be a high resolution picture.
Yes, I think you're right. Yes. Okay. I was going to tell you guys something and it just skipped my mind. I'll remember. It has to do with presenting your work, and I've already mentioned that it's always a better idea to say what the mixed media is comprised of, but there was some other tip I was going to give you. I'll think of it and come back. Okay.
Sure.
Whoa, what's this one? This one says, this one is by Bolibria, Dragged. When the world starts to disappear and people need to crawl to survive. Wow. Oil on canvas. This is completely oil. Wow, look at this lady. She lost part of her arm and her hand and her legs. Gee whiz. These people are sharing one astronaut helmet.
Or all that's left of them is their heads.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Well, I see the one on the far left. That one, he definitely looks done for. Yeah. But the others have color still, so I don't think they're. So maybe it goes around. This is it. This is almost it. This is not so much it, and this is definitely not it. So maybe that's why this one is looking at that one so terribly. It's like, oh God, I don't want to go there.
Right.
And this one has Birkenstock slipper sandals on their hands. Oh God. And the two fish that are on land are dead. Oh boy. And it looks like, I don't know if this red part is water or land. It's probably supposed to be the water. And this one's got one leg sticking out of a rock. That's the most interesting, funny one. It's like, how did it get there? You know, was this their burial part? You know, when people get buried, they put rocks on top of them.
Yeah.
You know, but they kind of missed the leg. I don't know.
But it's almost taking on like a turtle.
Yes, yes.
So it's almost like each body is taking on that of what would have been some kind of animal.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, Bolibria. Sorry you're not here to enlighten us, but I think we had fun with that piece too. I'm saying fun because I'm trying to make light of the truth of it, you know. Okay, this one is done by, let's see if I can get the name correct here. Yeah, it's hard for me to read it. But I think this gentleman is from Iraq, if I remember, because I read everybody's bio about 5 times. So, so yeah, I believe he's from Iraq. Because we have one gentleman from Iran and another from Iraq. So this is Love with Mummy. So so this is dead. So let's see what he's got to say here. We have reached a status of nihilism or inferior grades of human relations. And what happened in some countries, especially Syria, okay, he's from Syria, is an invitation to death, not to life. Like, I have sex with a mummy.
Ugh.
Yeah, wow. So he has 2 pieces in this show. He's got that one, I believe the next one, yeah, this one.
His use of color is incredible.
Yeah, yeah. And how he is able to create the media to do these crackles. You see, beautiful. And then this one is entitled Go Up. And this one was sold, it says. So let's see if I could read it, if if I can go in. Okay, it says between the earth and the moon, the gypsy lives without the wings. Between the seconds and the minutes, Syrians are immigrating to the same space without their bodies. Small bird, liberty without home, or home without liberty. And this one is soul. So it looks like, let's see if we can, yeah, okay, we were able to get, but we can't read Syrian, so, but this news article probably has something to do with what he said here about Syrians and immigration or immigrating. But yeah, let's look closely at his piece. The blues, his color schemes are just really well done. And he even has a half moon here, or a part of the moon here. And these are two people, looks like a man and a woman. And the man is behind and the woman is in front, and he's embracing her on her stomach, and they're going up. Very nice. Wow. Any comments anybody wants to make on these two before we move on?
They're really beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, this one is called The Crawl, a different crawl this time. This unique deformed figure is a combination of both animal and human that will eventually disappear from the planet. Yeah, so he's saying humans and animals will disappear from the planet. So yeah, if we keep going the way we're going, we will reach the apocalypse, that's for sure. All right, and this is from a Venezuelan artist, David Camero. And this one is called The Colossal Inside. And he doesn't have any narrative about it, but I guess we could just look at it and see. Let's see if we could get a straight view. It looks like this figure has on a mask of some kind, right? Some kind of a maybe African mask, or being that he's from Venezuela, it could be an Indian mask.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Yeah, and then he's got cleats on his feet. Very interesting. Beautiful, beautiful done.
It's really amazing.
Yeah.
See there's satellite dishes below?
Yeah, that's what those are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Parabolique Y. I don't know what parabolique Y means in English, but maybe it means the colossal inside. Maybe that's its translation. Maybe. Looks like he's got an eyeball on his left hip. Something like that. And a white glove on his left hand and a black glove on his right hand. So it looks like we started out here, right? Because I remember talking about these. So I think we're done, guys. So it's 5:10. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. Yeah, we went through these. Yeah, we went through these. So I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay. So we are all here still together. Good, thank you for hanging out. So you guys can unmute yourselves because you're all muted.
Thank you, Caroline. This is
Oh.
I love that you went through every single piece.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
made me appreciating everything so much more.
Yeah, I think it's just fair, even though the artist may not have been able to attend, right? I just want you guys to know, who have been able to come, to know, even if you can't make it for whatever reason, that your artwork will be shown and honored and talked about, right? Especially if the other attendees want to talk about it, right? We're not going to just fly by it. So our mission, again, is to really edify the artist, because without you, there won't be any art in the world. And without art in the world, it's like, what was that? Without music, the world is flat. I would say that's true about all the arts. Just be flat. So does anybody have any last words they'd like to make before we say good evening? Everybody's so quiet.
I appreciate all that you do.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
And
you guys give
keeping us
me
all
energy.
informed. By the way, how are you after your ordeal a while back? How are you doing? Don't want to talk about it?
No, I can. The only thing that remains are my nerves are still a little bit frayed, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like if I hear too many sounds, I'll get like hyper vigilant. After going through like 15 minutes of about 5 explosions and the last one knocking me down, but I've been very lucky. I wasn't hurt really, not big time hurt, a little bit, but my rib is healing nicely, my knees and my hands, even though I pick at my hands, but the blood is gone. But again, I'm so focused on the works that we have to do as artists. It's like when you have a mission and purpose in life, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you. So I'm hoping that you guys share the love of your own art and that you want to make sure that you're still around. Nothing will get you, okay? But yeah, I'm doing well, and thank you for asking. Thank you for asking.
Well, you look fantastic, so.
Yeah, she's looking nice.
Thank you.
Scary. So glad you're okay.
Thank you. I didn't put on any eye makeup, a little bit of lipstick and powder, and that's about it. I didn't wrap my head around because sometimes I just want to be me, right? And,
well, it's a beautiful you.
Thank you. But I'm so happy to be your servant leader. I call myself servant leader because somebody has to, take the responsibility to take the charge to keep us doing our thing together, So like I mentioned before, we're going to be, let me do this. Well, never mind. I don't want to put back on share screen. I just wanted to tell you about our artimpact.org website, just artimpact.org. And there you'll see all of the 22 United Nations issues that we're going to be building our exhibitions around for the next 5 to 10 years. So there are 22 issues, and I'm sure we can put together, and all of them have to do with what we've always been talking about, the children and the marine pollution, the climate change, all of that, right? But we're gonna at least follow the lead of the United Nations, and I'm in contact with some of their management so that we can get a letter of support, so that we can maybe get some funding, so that we can take our artwork actually around the world, and once we can, right? So this isn't a one-off thing, okay? We are gonna do it, and with your coming together with me, I feel very hopeful and sure that we're going to be just fine. So all I can keep saying is I love you guys. and
you too. Thank you so much, Caroline.
You're welcome. I feel very blessed. I feel very fortunate and blessed that I have, you see all the beautiful art, right? Now we have a Google grant so that we can advertise, right? So I do that. So that's one of the ways that we attract other artists from around the world. And they come, and you see, we have the Zoom, and you can meet each other. We're different color creeds and everything's, right? And we just talk about the different types, like Trish, you were telling us all about your process, and we have Ken about his process. I mean, and even Winnifred, and we have other people, and Craig, right? So just as a community, right? So again, thank you. I just figure I'm here to help facilitate this, right?
Carolyn?
Yes.
I'd like to say that I've noticed museums now doing virtual art like you are. And I said, Carolyn, I think, was one of the first to start doing the virtual exhibit. And you know, we have to celebrate Carolyn for that. and also I love, that's why I'm at every one that you have. I love to hear the artists explain their work, because I'm in fiber, and of course I don't have you know, the same. I do have tools, mixed media and all that I do use sometimes, but not what like the artists, the visual artists use. But Carolyn needs to be celebrated in being the first, one of the first to exhibit art virtually.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, Winnifred. I had this idea years ago for the very reason that we had many international artists working with us, and I was trying to figure out how I can show their work and not expense them or put their artwork in harm's way by being shipped. So I thought a virtual show would be the best. But at that point, I didn't find any virtual gallery, right? So when the pandemic hit, I immediately went to my computer, and I researched for a good 3 hours to find this platform so we can use it. It's not extremely expensive, but it's enough that it's not that cheap, and people can't come and steal the images off the walls. Of this, right? So you know, so the museums that have bigger budgets, right, and some of the more older galleries, yes, they're doing it, but people know me, and they always watch what I'm doing. So I knew that others were going to do it too, but I like being among the first to show you that, you know, as far as tech goes, I'm there. I want to actually do, I think the next big step we're going to take is probably holographic, maybe. But I know that's extremely expensive, so we're going to have to find people with deep pockets to help us out with that one.
Well, there's also AR and VR.
Yes.
And then with that, you could actually put on the headset and kind of. Yes.
So yes. So Trish, if you're willing to research that,
sure.
I'm open for anything that's new and that's gonna withhold the test of time, that we can include the artist in so they can present their work, you know. Please, you guys, you know.
They have it like it's a game, video game now, where you can go into the virtual exhibit and talk to the artist or talk to whoever's in there. Have a conversation with the person that does it.
Yes. So all of those are all stuff that we can do. There's not much that we can't do, right? We come together. I can't think of everything, but we can come together and pool our ideas, some of our resources, some of our contacts, right? We're going to start doing more grants and more, what is this? The group crowdfunding, the crowdfunding, stuff like that. So we'll just, you know, the money will come, but as long as we have beautiful art, good cause and something that will help our community, I think we will all want to keep going with it, right? As long as we love what we do, we're going to have the energy to keep going with it, right?
Definitely. It's awesome.
So thank you again.
Thank
sweetheart.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so tomorrow is going to be our very last gallery talk, and it'll be the same time at 3 o'clock, right? So if you're interested to come back, please do. It's going to be the last 2 galleries. It's going to be the abstract work as well as, let's see, abstract. What didn't we do yet? We did the animals, we did the marine, we did the, I think maybe it's just the abstract, maybe. Anyway, that's gonna,
Is it the same link? The same Zoom link?
Yes, it's the same Zoom link, yes.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
It's the same Zoom link, yes. I made sure that that's the same, just in case, yes. Yes.
I hope to get home in time to make it.
Okay, well, you can also just use your phone too, but if you're driving, don't do it.
Yeah, I might be driving. I have a meeting tomorrow, so
Right. All right, guys. I love you and thank you for all of your support and for your art. Okay, promise me, never stop creating your art. Not that you need to tell me you won't, but tell yourself you're not going to stop.
Thank
Right.
you.
We're not going to stop.
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Okay.
Bye. Bye, Ken.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You're welcome.
Bye. Bye, Hale.